It's been 4 long years since the last Darksiders game, 6 since the last mainline title in the series, and we finally have a teaser for a new game. The description that THQ provided says,
"The foreboding rumble of caverns eons old. Embers swirl through the air, cast up from pools of bubbling lava. 3 enormous heads, hewn from otherworldly stone, suddenly burst into life with mystical flame. The charred council roar, a single word in unison. Horseman."
Sorry, something in my throat. You see, sadly, the teaser shows absolutely nothing besides the Charred Council giving a speech, so at this point, it's all speculation on what kind of game is next in the series. You see, Darksiders is entirely unique in that every game that has come out has essentially been a different genre of a game, which is very unusual for direct sequels, or prequels in this case, as every game after the first has been a prequel. Darksiders first released in 2010 with a Zelda-style action-adventure game that puts you in the shoes of War, one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Each game that followed changed the formula a bit, going toward a more loot-driven hack-and-slash RPG in 2 with Death, and leaning into some Souls-like influences in 3 with Fury. The biggest departure was 2019's unnumbered game Darksiders Genesis, featuring Strife and War, an isometric co-op driven action RPG that looked as much like Diablo as a Darksiders game. All these games are extremely fun in their own way, and can be played without any prior knowledge of another, so you could potentially start anywhere. So what can we speculate the new game will be like? Well, the obvious theory would be finally, have an actual mainline game featuring Strife as she was shown in Genesis. You see, the original plan from way back when was for every horseman would get their own game, and then a potential 5th game would be a 4-player co-op game where the 4 horsemen finally reunite and bring down the Charred Council for their treachery. However, the developer on this new upcoming game is none other than Gunfire Games, the studio that made Darksiders 3 and both Remnant games. Now, if you know what kind of game Remnant and Remnant 2 is, and what kind of character Strife is, a horseman who prides himself on using 2 pistols as his main weapons, it seems logical we're finally getting a Strife game in the same gameplay style as what they've been doing with Remnant, essentially a third-person shooter, possibly Souls-like kind of game. I'm thinking of a third-person game, faster paced, more so than Remnant, with Zelda-like dungeons like from the original. Hopefully something in the style of like Vanquish, or at the very least taking some movement cues from like Max Payne. He'll definitely have some knife melee combos like in Genesis, and different ammo types to use and to charge up. I feel like this is the main reason the series has been on hiatus for a while. They wanted to try a new IP with their third-person shooting mechanics to test the waters before moving on to one of their flagship franchises like Darksiders. The game has also supposedly been in development around 3 years, according to a now sadly deleted tweet that I forgot to save from a developer showing his LinkedIn page. If it has been in development since 2021, we can maybe expect a full trailer, at this Game Awards at the end of the year, or maybe early next year in some other showcase. Darksiders is one of my favorite franchises. I love the lore behind the Nephilim horsemen and the 7 seals and the continued struggle of a fragile peace between heaven, hell, and earth. Here's hoping whatever Vigil, THQ, and Gunfire Games is working on lives up to the hype fans have set up for themselves as we get another kick-ass entry into this fascinating changing of genres franchise. Be sure to like and subscribe, maybe leave a comment on what you guys think the next game will be like. Also, I'd like any and all feedback, especially on my titles and thumbnails. I feel like, they're probably where I need the most work in. Anyways, sorry for the ramble. Talk to you next time.